only somebody could help me with my writer's block. Anyways, I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, you know, just a really long time. Me and Mr. Bear here actually. Here we are, actually making it. Ain't that right? Yeah, I know you're a little bit low in the camera, but I am the star of the show, I need to... But fine, sorry, let me fix it. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a video checking out what the booktube slash people who are writers say about writing, like the tips and advice that they give you. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't like checking out booktubers and writing channels because I am a lazy piece of shit. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to actually check what the hell are they saying about writing and if it's actually good or terrible or decent, I don't know. So let's check these creators out and see what they have to say, and I'm gonna talk about if I agree or disagree. I've been writing for the past 3 years. I must say, completely honest, I am not a published writer, so my thoughts and opinions and things I say are from a complete standpoint of someone who hasn't published a book but has written every single day for the last 3 years. Shailene writes. All the channels are going to be in the description down below, and just let's check it out. You want some headphones? No? You have super hearing? Cool.
Hey guys, it's Shailene. I'm here today with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the writing advice that changed how I write, my favorite pieces of writing advice. There's obviously tons of great writing advice out there. Not all of it resonates with everyone, and I'm not saying that these are rules, but this is...
Yeah, that's true though. Writing advice, it's not for everybody. Some of them will, some of them won't, and it's up to you to decide what works on your book, on your writing, on your script, on whatever you are doing. This is a general life advice.
And so I find these to be like my top 12 writing tips. First one, if the reader can imagine something happening without needing to be told, then you don't need to show it. And it really clicked something for me because when I was a new writer, I had this impulse. I felt like I needed to show you everything in order to make the story believable. I felt like because this was realistic to happen, I had to include it, you know?
It's actually true. You don't have to write every single thing that happens. You can just say, this happened, and you don't have to describe like a whole 3 pages of whatever happens. That's up to you, but you will be able to tell which information is just no good for you.
When really you could just cut to the next important moment of the plot. And this was such a good piece of advice for me and my writing habits, to just be told, if we know what happens, we don't need to be told, or we don't need to be shown a whole scene, right?
It's a good piece of advice, and it works. I think at the beginning I used to write everything that happened, and I had a lot of problems with jumping to the next scene. Like, I remember the first, 10 chapters of my book, I had to describe everything that happened. Is the main character going somewhere? We're gonna describe how the steps sound. If you are just new to writing, you are gonna probably write everything that comes to your mind, and you're gonna just lay it down, write it, and maybe you don't need to. Maybe it's just you can cut some of that stuff out, because we don't need to know exactly what color the pants were or what some character was wearing from, a random scene. You need to be mindful that it works for the plot and for the characters. Your writing works for the reader, but before you publish, the writing works for the story and for the plot and for the characters. So you need to be mindful about that. Cut what you don't need, write a lot, and write it. Just accept the fact that you're gonna write a lot, and then cut it out, but once you're finished, not just in the middle.
So my next favorite piece of advice is to use strong verbs. I don't know where I first heard this advice, but I know that it was kind of just among friends, my university cohort. At one point we all just got really into verbs. We all started talking about verbs all the time, and we got super into using funkier verbs. And I do remember at one point the professor was talking to us in our workshop, and she was like, all of you guys have really been working on your verbs lately. Like, all of your stories, you've had such great verbs.
So yeah, I think it's a sound piece of advice. Same with adjectives. You can always play on that as a writer. You don't need to have necessarily complicated words, but you can use peculiar words so you can give a certain aesthetic to your story. Or the character you're describing, maybe that character is eccentric, and so you can use some, I don't know, weird and unusual verbs, adjectives, phrases. It doesn't have to be every single turn that you have to use the most funky words ever, but you can use them sparingly and strategically. If you use them like that, you are gonna make your writing more beautiful, I guess.
It instantly improved the quality of my prose to start veering out of familiar verbs and using more unexpected verbs that feel more visceral and exciting and surprising within the sentence, and even sometimes getting into like weird territory, making them up. The next really, really impactful piece of writing advice in my life was, it's not show don't tell, it's describe don't explain.
Yeah, the famous show don't tell, describe don't explain is like obvious when you hear about it, but also it's not as simple as one would expect.
And that clicked something for me. I was like, that's what show don't tell is. Showing is just describing. Telling is just explaining. I talked about this in my video on show don't tell, but that changed how I saw show don't tell because I think it's so much more approachable, and I wish we could rebrand show don't tell to describe don't explain because it makes more sense. You hear describe don't explain, you know exactly what to do. The next piece of advice is one that I bet a lot of people will disagree with. If your story is boring, slow it down, don't speed it up. I remember exactly where I read this. It was in the Glimmer Train Bulletin.
I really like this one. I actually really like this one because it makes sense. I'll let her.
Writing it had said, if your story is boring, slow it down, don't speed it up. It might not be boring because it's too slow. It's probably boring because there's not enough to sink into. Slowing it down increases the richness. It gives the reader more to invest in. And that resonated with me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be able to make your reader engage with the characters and fall in love with some of them, or maybe hate some of them even. Yeah, I think this is it for Charlene Writes. I feel like this video has awesome writing advice, and the rest of the thing that she actually explained is it's good. It's really good. Actually recommend you check it out for yourself. I'm not gonna show the entire video because I don't wanna just be here sitting down and reacting to the entire thing. But the few key points that we have here are really good. Let's jump to the next one. Alexa Doan? Harsh writing advice. We all need to hear tough things from the things that we create or that we build, because criticism is gonna make you grow.
Hello everyone, Alexa Dunn here. I am a traditionally published author, and today I am coming at you with some harsh writing advice.
Good.
This is your tough love writing advice.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Come on. Punch me. Hit me. Hit me.
Video specifically aimed at you guys who are newer writers. I'm here to tell you the things you need to hear that you might not necessarily want to hear. Number one, your first book is probably going to suck. It's just not going to be very good, but you have to write it. You can't write books if you don't write books, and fear of failure is not a good excuse, so just embrace that it's gonna suck.
Yeah, the ideas you have for writing are not gonna write themselves. You have to sit down and put your mind to it. But also, because I don't exactly agree with what she said, but I think it's because the words she used and not because the statement is bad itself. But I think the first things you're gonna write are gonna suck, yes, but they don't have to be bad forever. You're gonna improve. The more you write, the better you get at it. That's why I think what she's trying to say, at least, is your first draft, your first things that you write are gonna suck because yes, you don't know what you're doing exactly. You are stumbling like a newborn. Your first book is gonna suck at the beginning, but you can make it better.
2, nothing is original. So stop twisting yourself into pretzels over your idea being perfect or original or winning or, worrying that, oh God, another author already did this.
Yes, they did. They probably did your idea 1,000 times. And I am sorry to tell you, there isn't any more originality in this world. And I am terribly sorry if you are hearing this for the first time. There is no way that something you write is gonna be 100% original. And I am sorry to tell you. But, and hear me out, you are gonna make it original.
I guarantee you another author or TV show or film already did this. Deep
Yeah.
breath, let it go, and just seriously write. What brings an original spark to a novel is how you write it. And
Exactly.
if you don't get it in your first go because your first book is probably going to suck, that's fine. By writing books, you're going to teach yourself how to write books, how to take tropes and twist them
Yeah.
and make them interesting and original. It's a process, so don't worry too much about whether or not you're original, because I promise you, you're not. 3, no one cares as much about your magnum opus as you do. Trust me,
Yeah.
really, they don't care. So it's gonna be hard for you to get people to drum up any enthusiasm. So when you're wasting your time on Reddit being like, what do you think of this? No one cares. We just don't care. And when you're done with it, it's gonna be hard to find beta readers because no one cares.
Yeah.
Your family and friends definitely don't care. Just kind of embrace that.
I think that's a little bit over the top, but yes, probably most strangers and most people, they don't care about your writing. I get what she's trying to say, that your family and friends don't exactly care about your writing, they care more about you and what you create, and because you created it, they are gonna want to read it. Excuse me, but if you don't love what you do, what you create, nobody's gonna love it. Love your characters yourself, and then throw it out into the world, see them get torn to shreds, and see some people pick up the little pieces and love them. That's what you need to do. I actually agree with what she's saying.
It means more to you than it's going to mean to anyone else, especially that first book, which probably sucks. Eventually you can get people to care about your book as much as you do, if not more. But it takes time, and it's definitely not gonna happen right away. So just kind of let go of that desperate need for validation and attention and just write your book.
You there! Remember to like, comment, and subscribe right now, and ring that and ring that bell. Did it work? No. Oh, come on, I throw myself from a building. Really didn't work? What do I have to do to you people to convince you to subscribe?
Brings me to reason number 6. Writer's block is an illusion. Writer's block doesn't exist. It's an excuse for not writing. I know what you're saying, but Alexa, sometimes I hit a block with writing. It's hard. Yes, because writing is hard. Writing is freaking hard. Writing a book is very, very hard. It's supposed to be hard. And the thing is, you can't always write when you're inspired.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say a few things, but yeah, she's right. I already talked about this, about inspiration in my first video ever. But yeah, writer's block, I think it's something that exists. I disagree on that. But I think writer's block is something you need to learn to deal with. You need to write when you have to. If you hit a wall and you're like, oh no, I'll leave it be and I'll come back when I'm just inspired. My fellow writers, please sit down. You wanna write? Write. You feel like you hit a block? Write it anyways. Because that's how you get through a writer's block. You don't go back. You actually go ahead and, you know what, I'm gonna demonstrate you, like physically. You don't go to writer's block and you are like, oh, I'll return somewhere else. No, you go to writer's block and you do this. Ow. You do that, ow, until you get through. Don't hurt yourself, don't do something stupid like that, but you need to get through it by writing. You're not gonna be able to get better at anything if you go back the way you came from, because that's square one, and there's the finish line. So go ahead and freaking destroy that wall. And then I need to rest after this one.
Inspiration is for people who don't finish books. You have to form a writing habit and just force yourself to write even when you don't feel like it. Not feeling like it is this imaginary writer's block. And professionals can teach themselves how to push through this.
I agree!
Real. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
Sidebar though, mental health is real and you should take care of yourself. And every once in a while, not wanting to write is a sign that you need a break. But the rest of the time, it's not real.
So, yeah, I don't think it needs any introduction. So So
Future have a sequel, and I have been working on that sequel, and so I've been thinking about writing a lot lately. And this has made me realize that there are a number of things that I wish that I had known about writing when I was writing my first book. This, of course, isn't going to be applicable to everybody, but I figured I'd share with the help of some questions I got on Twitter. Thing number 1, characters versus plot. I started with plot, and I thought that plot was going to carry me through the whole process. I was super wrong. I couldn't even really get deep into the book until I cared about the characters really deeply.
yeah, it's a mutual thing. You need characters and then you need a plot, and you need plot for the characters, and the plot needs a character. This is, I think, a universal thing. You need to have a plot and characters, and you need to care about those characters. You need to love them. You need to break yourself down into pieces. Give those pieces to your characters. Grow said pieces until they are a full-fledged human. I completely 100% agree with that one.
Thing number 2, writing schedules are not a thing that I have. So if I do not write at least 1,000 words a week, the story leaves my brain. I no longer think about it in the shower when I'm taking a walk, and starting back up again becomes a whole process. Thing number 3, also regarding the actual physical process of writing. Not all writing is writing. Thinking, staring, researching, stressing, reading other people's books.
Okay, I agree with this one. Writing, it's not only about physically writing, as he said. Writing is about everything you do related to your book. You research how to make a bonfire. I watched a whole TV show just for research. I don't know if even I'm gonna put this one on. He's making me like realize a lot of good points, but also it's kind of like he's answering to people that have questions, and what I'm wanted to do is, oh, you have Watchmen here, I have Watchmen here. I think I broke something. I'm gonna leave it be, but yeah, I have Watchmen there too. I don't know if I'm gonna put like the whole video, even though it's short, but he has a very good sense of what he's doing, and his explanation is really cool, and I like it. So go and watch the video for yourself. We have Hannah Lee Kidder now, also link in the description below. Let's jump into it.
Hey, I'm Hannah. I'm a writer. You can grab my books in the description if you want to see some of my stuff. Today I've got a list of 10 less common writing tips that I found a lot of success with. You can let me know your favorite one in a comment or tell me your own. The first tip is for if you have a character that you like too much or you hate too much. In general, you want your characters to be complex.
We all have that character that we absolutely love and we absolutely like treasure. Like it was last thing on earth.
A mix of good and bad traits because that makes them read believably. So if you're having trouble imagining them complexly, my hack is to temporarily change their name. Replace their name with the name of a real person that you like or dislike. So if I dislike a character and I want to write them more fairly, I'll give them my friend Sam's name because it's androgynous, so you could slap it on anybody.
Hey, that's my name.
Think of them more fondly, so I imagine better traits for them. I won't tell you the names that I use when I want to like a character less, but I do have a few in rotation. Tip 2 is to cut the last thing you wrote. I find that most writers make their point before they're done talking, and they just keep talking because writers don't know how to shut up. So those extra words after the point.
I don't know if it's me only, but I love talking. Yeah, it's true. You need to know when to stop. It's time to stop.
Often make it weaker. And this tip isn't going to be true 100% of the time, so use your own judgment, but look at the last thing you wrote and ask yourself if it's stronger cutting that, because it normally is. Tip 3 is stop writing while you still have ideas. This might seem counterintuitive if you have like a good flow going, but knowing where you're starting at the beginning of your next writing session makes that one much more productive. For example, if you have a certain word count goal that day and you hit it and you still have ideas, it might be best to stop while you still have ideas.
Or maybe what you can do, because it's what I do. Before I write a chapter, write down what the main character does, what the antagonist does maybe, or what happens next. But if you want to keep writing, like just keep on doing it, because in the next writing session, if you are done with that chapter, you can sit down and do an outline again. And it's something that fits upon itself. Because
to summarize what I think should happen, like just a couple bullet points, that way in the next writing session I know exactly what I'm going to be working on. If you burn yourself out of ideas, your next writing session is going to be a lot of thinking, and that's going to slow you down a lot versus if you could just jump in writing. Tip 4 is to print your manuscript for proofreading. This is probably the most common bit of advice on this list, but having like a physical copy in front of you for some reason makes it a lot easier to spot mistakes.
Oh my god, yes. You print your manuscript to proofread. Yeah, it's really useful. I have mine here, censor it, because no spoilers for anybody here. Yeah, you grab it and you just highlight all your mistakes and just, I don't know, do whatever you please with it. Well, this is about it. I think all the writing advice that we saw in these 4 videos are good. I generally don't agree with a few of them. I guess it's just normal. Not every writer is the same, and not everything that works for you is gonna work for me or vice versa. You need to check these videos out because I didn't show you everything they had to say, because I'm not going to. I'm not gonna sit down here and just show you the entire video because I can. No, I'm gonna I wanted to just check out what they had to say and if I agreed or not. And for the most part, I agree, and I think there is some sound and useful advice, so you need to go and check their videos out. That's it, that's the whole video, and you should like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep this going. Bye bye, I'll see you on the next one. Memento Frui.